What is your value? Value is everything when it comes to entrepreneurship. If you don't know your value when it comes to your product or service, why are people going to buy from you? Hi, I'm McLean from Bright Red Triangle, and today we're going to discover what the value proposition is. So if value means worth, value proposition is the value you create for your customers. You have to be absolutely clear why people are going to buy from you and not your competitors. It could be something tangible, like pricing. Are you the cheapest in the market? Or it could be something more intangible, like customer service. So to help you define your value, we're going to use something called the value proposition canvas. Let's head inside and have a coffee. The value proposition is at the heart of any business model, and it's a fantastic way to test your idea, or if things aren't quite going according to plan, to sort of revisit the value proposition and see what you can tweak. There are 4 key factors to the value proposition. Firstly, customers. Who are your customers? Secondly, problem. What problem are you trying to solve for your customers? Third, the solution. What solution have you come up with for your customers? And finally, differentiation. How have you changed or are different to your competition? So let's jump into the value proposition canvas. As you can see, it is split into 2. On one side you have the value proposition, which is the service or product you're offering, and on the other side is the customer profile, so what customer you're targeting. So let's concentrate on the customer profiling side first. You need to understand your customer. I know I've said that loads, but it's the most important thing about having a successful business. As you can see, customer profiling is split into 3 sections. Customer jobs. What jobs are your customers trying to complete? Gains. What positive outcomes will your customer get by using your product or service? And pains. What's the risk if they don't complete the job? What's the bad outcome? So in order to effectively look at customer profiling, you really need to understand your customer. Who, what, why, where, when. So lots of W's. If you understand your customer, it's much easier to target them and understand them and sell to them. So let's look at an example. Packed Coffee are a coffee subscription business. Now we've seen lots of them pop up over the last couple of years, but let's have a think about the customer jobs. What customer jobs do you think Packed Coffee were targeting? Maybe it's just getting a good cup of coffee in the morning that's maybe ethically sourced and to a certain quality. So what pains do you think the customers were having? Maybe it was going to the cupboard and realising that the coffee jar was empty. Maybe it was the risk of being really grumpy or not being switched on at work because you haven't had your caffeine hit. So what gains do you think they were targeting? Maybe it's the fact that they bought fair trade and supported farmers around the world. Or maybe it's just the peace of mind that you knew the coffee would be in your cupboard in the morning. So Packed Coffee clearly identified the job that needed to be done. People wanted to drink good quality coffee at home. They solved the pain point by having subscription deliveries through the post so you never ran out of coffee. And customers gained an education in coffee and bought fair trade coffee without even thinking about it, supporting many farmers around the world. So we've looked at the customer profile side. We know what customer jobs are trying to be completed, what gains the customers are looking for, and what pain points the customers are having. So let's jump over to the value proposition side. The value proposition side is very much about your product or service. So what are the gain creators for Packed Coffee? You're getting more information about where your beans have come from and who you're supporting. There's also an education on how to brew coffee on their social media sites and information that comes through the post with your coffee on how to brew that perfect cup of coffee. So the gain is us having a much nicer coffee back home. So the biggest pain reliever for the customer was not to run out of coffee. So they made their business model a subscription model. So the customer did not even have to think about coffee coming through their letterbox, it just happened. So if you understand who the customer is and what pains you're solving, and you're very clear in the product or service you're offering, you're going to do really well. So in our next video, we're going to look at the business model canvas. The value proposition slots right into the center of that. So I look forward to seeing you there.